Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Saturday No FOMO Charts live stream. I am streaming one day earlier today due to a schedule change I have. Let's go ahead and get started with the weekly watch list. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. We also have a Discord group if you'd like to join. Let's go ahead and get started. Last week was a fairly volatile week. We're still in USA stock market earnings this week. Before we actually begin the stream, let's have a moment of silence due to all the devastating tragedies, especially the earthquake that happened last week. Let's have a moment of silence out of respect for that. Thank you. So, USA stock market earnings continues with Advanced Auto Parts, Avis Group, some of the big global brands I highlighted here: Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Cisco, Fastly, Kraft Heinz as well. Marathon Oil I just put in there because of the volatility of energy right now. Roblox, Roku, Shopify, probably Zillow as well, just for real estate. Applied Materials, DraftKings, etc. In terms of economic data releases, we have the CPI, which is going to be related to inflation, the PPI, retail sales are the three big ones for this week. We also have manufacturing index, unemployment claims, and building permits. And the brief overview of news. There's that devastating, very tragic earthquake in Turkey and Syria, and also in Indonesia as well. So just a lot of bad things happening with disasters and weather related in the past couple of years. In terms of what's happening in USA and North America, USA did shoot down the spy balloon in Canada military also this past week, shot down an unidentified object above Canadian airspace. But the USA is blacklisting the 6 Chinese aerospace companies linked to the previous spy balloon off of the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina. USA corporate layoffs are continuing. So we're seeing Disney on their earnings call, Zoom, Dell, eBay, JP Morgan announcing layoffs. Unfortunately, people getting fired as companies are trying to downsize and get lean to get through this difficult period of inflation and recession risk. On the crypto side, Affirm is closing its Affirm crypto initiative. Robinhood cancels the purchase of Ziglo crypto company. Kraken is paying a fine, very expensive millions of dollars fine to the SEC to shut down crypto staking for USA customers. And the Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong said in a tweet, which I view as a rumor for now, but it's actually could come true, is the USA SEC may shut down crypto staking for all USA customers. That's what the SEC has been discussing, how to regulate the crypto industry and get the crypto companies into compliance. That would be one of the ways, because why is the SEC doing this? Because of FTX, Luna, etc. Russia announced a 5% oil production cut, a reduction. The UK finance minister stated that the UK avoided a recession in Q4 2022 and is one of the largest G7 countries in terms of economic growth, the fastest growth, I should say, back in Q4 2022 to show the resilience there in the UK. And last week in the news, USA Fed Chair Powell in his speech stated it could take 1 to 2 years for inflation to get down close to the 2% target. Right now, we're about 6.5%. So it's a long ways down to go. And this is not new news. When Fed Chair Powell started the interest rate increases about 1 year ago, he stated it could take all the way into 2024. So this is not new news to people who have been watching the FOMC meetings. All right, now with all that in our mind, let's go ahead and quickly get into the charts here. All right. S&P 500. So we've been hearing this talk about pullback and pullback, and it's true. It's true. We could look at the market in two ways. I'm on the daily chart right now. If I pop open my chart, there is one X the mark spot that I want to point out to people. We basically hit the gap resistance of 420 to 430 in the short term. We are still in the uptrend for about 3 months. If this is our pivot high and we're going to pull back, this X marks a spot right here at $394. $394 is my downside target. We might see it go all the way down to 390, but you can see if it's low, high, the higher low is right here at 392. So I'm going to leave this for next time. That's the bearish target. If bears want to try to get it something down, that's unfortunately what the target is. On the weekly side, we have a large doji and inside bar on the weekly. So it would make sense. The last time we saw kind of inside bar slash doji slash shooting star was back in August 2022. And I would not be surprised if we crash back down. Why? Because the inflation battle is not over yet. COVID might have reduced down a lot, thankfully, but inflation has not come down, and war, and now with China-USA tensions rising over spy balloon and satellites and spying, it's getting a lot. That's not a bullish event. It's bearish. It's bad. So that's why we're having additional pullback. Will we go crash all the way back down here to oblivion in 350? It maybe. Things have to be really bad though. In terms of this circle from August to October, those were interest rate hikes. Some of the big interest rates like 50 and 75 basis points here in the US, that's why it came down as well and the market reacted to that. Will the market react as strong this time? If we pull up a Fibonacci, where can we go? We could pull back to these fib levels, $400, 389, 381, 372. Again, that worst case kind of like 350 as well. But if bears try to follow through and push down this week as hard as they can, I would not be surprised. It's still making this, we just lost the uptrend, low high, lower low. It's trying to make a lower high probably overnight as well, going into next week. And then if it's going to be a downtrend, it should go down to like 400. It's not super oversold on this 4 hour yet. The 1 hour, the 15 minute, they did get their bounce going on. But in terms of descending, almost parallel channel, almost. So the support, the support down here would be about $400. The resistance to the top side would be about 411. All right. Let's go to NASDAQ. As I was saying last time, we do have a little bit of bounce attempt, but the downtrend on the shorter term time frames came true. I also was saying we're losing momentum, and then we get this pullback to the downside. I have a lot of lines here, but if we clean up a little bit, just to find where we hit our downside target, and it's doji down there as well. We zoom out. This could be the classic descending wedge breakout retest. So we hit our target on the top side. We hit our pullback on the downside. Totally fine. Totally normal. Now, where's our support? About 295.20 or 285.50. Because if we break out, we should retest somewhere here. There's going to be a fight, most likely in this range from 285 to about 295 area. That's what I'm looking for. On the weekly, we do have inside bar, similar as S&P 500. I don't have to probably repeat myself, but the big lows, 260, 250. If we ever hit those lows again, that would mean that inflation is not coming down, or the jobs report is too strong. But I would imagine 292, 285 looking like our targets. We're still in the 4 hour uptrend, which is totally fine. 1 hour bouncing a little bit, but you can also see if we lose this area, if we're not going to bounce into the lower high of 306, you can see there can be quite a strong dump that could happen Low, high, low. If we don't have that, ooh, could crash down to 290. No problem, though. That's no problem. Unfortunately, politically wise and economic wise, the market is not quite ready yet to blow to the upside. Now, if we look at Dow Jones, still in this golden cross, you could see in my blue parallel channel here that we just double topped again off of this 341, and that's the theme right now. We double topped resistance in S&P 500, NASDAQ, and also Dow Jones. This could be considered a multiple top zone on the charts in this new yellow box on the top. This upside target is still there. Thankfully, we're still in the golden cross, so it's not game over yet. But this could be some kind of weekly lower high, and are we going to get a lower low in the weekly down to 322? Are my original support targets 322 and 314, something to watch out for. Inside the weekly chart, yes, we are still consolidating to the side, but this is essentially a symmetrical triangle, so we should be able to get the 3 to 6% volatility plus or minus, which are basically my targets drawn on the screen. The X, the lines, the blue, that's what that all is. 4 hour, still going symmetrical to the side. So what that means to me is we got through earnings. We survived through earnings. That's what this original interest rate and price increase was. We survived through earnings. Now it's all about interest rates, job numbers, company moves, corporations, political tensions. Hopefully there are no more, or there are less natural disasters, and COVID continues to go down. So we need some positive changes for the next 2 years for us to sustain an uptrend rally. Okay, let's quickly go to US oil. US oil finding its double bottom above $65 and bouncing to the $70 range. Russia did announce their production cut, which could have explained this 618 bounce in terms of the last 4 days. Now, that it's trying to basically just jump out of its wedge on the top side. If this is a little double bottom, we can, if it happens to break above the top of the double bottom, we could try to get this 8% up to $77. I'll just write that resistance. Support is still down here at 64. So we're still playing these two, actually these three targets right now. That's pretty much all we have to watch out for. There is momentum building on the weekly. So in terms of the $62 to $64 range, that's what we're bouncing off of on support. In the 4 hour chart here, you can see clearly the consolidation to the side. So this was kind of a 4 hour, 1 hour support play, buy low, sell high idea. US oil, though, I don't like to spend too much time on the technical charts because it's not all about technicals. A lot of fundamental breakout news can just change things around. Okay, now natural gas. I'm going to talk about this for a couple streams now. Natural gas, I like this. Okay, all right. I see the double bottom here finally on natural gas. I might try to enter natural gas in relation to that Russia production cut. Now, my targets are probably 12%, 24%, maybe a mega 50% if things really turn around. But the actual double bottom is 9 to 18%. So I'll just leave it at a 9%, well, relatively small target here from the top of the, if you just, or somebody buys now, for example, it's not the greatest risk to reward. I might have to do 18%, for example, just to really get that 2-to-1 reward to risk. Just something to think about. I've been waiting for this for a while. So if this is the real one, let us rise on natural gas. Clear double bottom at off of $8. Now it's at the breakout range. This could be tricky though, because sometimes it goes sideways and it's a fake breakout. So I need to allow myself for about plus or minus 10 volatility and size the position accordingly. Next, take a quick look at gold. Gold having the pullback with the correlation with the Dow Jones. Now it's not over yet for gold, but the big sell-off and the shorter term flag on the inside on that candle. Low high, we're trying to establish the lower high. Low high, low, lower high, low. Where's our lower low and our lower high? Where is it? There is a little bit of bullish 4-hour momentum building on the H4 chart, so I would not be surprised if the price actually attempted to rally on gold. So where's our resistance? 175.51, support 172 or 170. Silver, with the strong gap down, did we hit our 4% target to the downside? We did. 2 times down is 1971. We hit this X marks a spot to the 200 EMA. Now, we know some bears try to attack that down. If I zoom out, where's our fib level? The $20 silver level is very important because that's our 200 EMA golden cross support level. If we lose that on the daily, and let's say the price keeps continuing to go down, that is confirmed downtrend, and the bullish death cross, the golden cross, has been lost if that happens. So I am watching very closely for that. On the H1 and H4, we already have a death cross and a downtrend. So we might be able to see just a little bit of pop up on this in terms of the price, maybe 3% to 2080. All right. I would like to go ahead and just take a quick glance at some of these earnings stocks. The screen is about to get bright. So let's take a quick visual look at my list up here. Okay. Just take a quick look at Advanced Auto Parts. What's going on here? So these are all earnings companies before their earnings. So I am not recommending any of these in terms of, this is all educational. I'm just looking at what's going on with these companies right now in terms of the price action. So Advanced Auto Parts has been in a longer term downtrend. Let's get the trend going. Drawing this support line. All right. So in terms of long-term downtrend, very short-term uptrend attempt. The market, if the whole broader market pulls back, we can zoom out and see Advanced Auto Parts, a car parts company here in the USA. The 618 is 136. That would be an interesting spot of value. Possibly a lower low, maybe even 106 if things are really, really bad. It's just trying to hold the support level. So in terms of the resistance, it would be 154 and then 175 area on the top. Avis, you want to watch out for Avis. Very volatile. It's a very Wall Street Bets meme stock. Essentially consolidating to the side, flagging. Let's see. It's actually a descending triangle formation, descending wedge formation, which is not good. We also hit the resistance right now. So if Avis has bad earnings, I could immediately see this in 30 days coming down to about 138 level, unfortunately for the company, if that happens. If it has great earnings, you could see the pop up. Where's the next resistance to the top side? 304 to about 360 area. We'll just watch out for that. But interesting how Avis has been consolidating to the side, essentially. Coca-Cola, one of the most famous soda drinks in the entire history of drinks in the world. Look at this. Wow, multiple top here at $65 for Coca-Cola. So unfortunately for this company, could not break above the $65 resistance. Now the big trend line to the bottom side and the top side, if I box this in, wow, attempted to break out, but the broader market could not break out to the upper resistance. So we have this support level above 57.34. If this turns out to be a double top, could be 20% drop. That would be catastrophic for this company. It might not happen. However, it is Coca-Cola after all. That's just what the measurements show. But the immediate support is right where I marked, probably that 57.34 area. The resistance, if we have blowout earnings to the top side, will be this $65 again. Airbnb, interesting corporation. It's essentially global hotel room rentals, for lack of a better word. But here we are, Airbnb. We can see now. Let's get this resistance up and the support level up. It's basically this opening, descending, broadening wedge formation, but we also have that resistance similar to Coca-Cola on 125.60, just below the 618 into the earnings. Immediate support right at 98.03. The immediate resistance 112, but more importantly, the 128.59 area is that resistance I'm eyeing. If it's absolutely terrible, then it could go all the way back down to 80. I would watch that very carefully. But that's a lot of volatility, 10 to 20% on this particular company. Cisco, very famous technology company, Cisco. Wow. The multiple top here on Cisco. Absolutely incredible to see on the charts, right? Sometimes you just see some of these perfect setups. But I'm going to wait personally for the earnings, but I'm going to keep my eye on this one because if this is a double top, I could actually measure that and get some kind of move going on. If it breaks below 8% to downside, it's 42.69 target. 16% is the bottom of this channel, 38.80. This company is still, it attempted to break out of this descending trend line, almost had it, but now we have a new pivot point up. Very interesting to watch that. If I fib this level, the heart line is 44.15. I'll watch out for that. If we break out above $50, would be nice for this company as well on the upside. Let's take a look at Kraft Heinz, very popular KHC, not KFC, KHC. Very popular company. I mean, they make all sorts of food and condiments and sauces and whatnot for restaurants like ketchup and mustard, I believe, at least ketchup. So very important. But what am I seeing here? We're seeing a potential head and shoulders on this company. That is not good. If we break below the neckline, we can measure and move that to the downside. We actually might have just lost the neckline, and we're trying to retest that right now. That's 5% to downside, 5 to 10% to downside. 10% would be 35.36. So these are their two targets, 37.59 and 35.36, if that is true. We also hit a 2 years long triple top right into the resistance zone. So as you can see, many companies formed a resistance pivot, and now we are potentially about to drop in the market. Potentially. I'm not talking about 5-minute day trading at 9:30 a.m. on Monday. I'm talking about where are we going for the next, as a swing trade investor, where are we going for our next 30 days, 60, 90, 120 days, a couple months, the next quarter. If we have a bad quarter, we could crash all the way back down to $32, and then we might see a reversal. Buy low, sell high. Remember my mantra, or not my mantra, but that's been a advice for investing in stocks for probably hundreds of years, or 100 years probably, right? And the short is sell high, buy low in general. We just got to watch out for that. Very interesting chart, KHC. Let's move on. Let's do a little bit of Marathon Oil. Marathon Oil. Another potential bearish divergence play. At least a bearish double top. Again, right below $35. This kind of reminds me of the oil natural gas chart. This large trend line back from 2020 did not hit that support ever yet. We have intermediate. This can be interpreted two ways, because the top almost looks like an ascending triangle. If we have this higher low support and breakout, maybe we might see a scenario where stock indexes come down, energy goes up. We could see that. However, if we do end up losing this trend line below $25, that would kind of mark that first time we have a very, very large pullback to the downside. So I'm very closely watching this company as well. If we start to double top and lose this and we have another downtrend, ooh, it could be terrible for this company. So resistance at $35, support at $20. All right, let's go to Roblox. Roblox, video game company that some people might be familiar with. They had their IPO way back here in March 2021, so it's been 2 years. And Fibonacci, in terms of immediate trend, it's in a short-term downtrend. A medium-term symmetrical triangle with a potential volatility of plus or minus 50% from the breakout spot. They have their earnings on Wednesday before market open. Could be volatile for this company as well, but support at $27 and $22 to the downside. Resistance 42 and 48. Very closely watching this. But this type of chart is very similar to many other smaller stocks, which we'll look at in a second. I'll just do a couple more because I believe this kind of relates. I'll go faster to finish these up. Roku, unfortunately, the streaming service just could not really compete, but it's been in a downtrend. It almost tried to break out. So I was trying to play Roku on the long side, but if it's going to pull back, okay. If it pulls back, no problem. Where is it going to go? 45, maybe 37. Might have to short it down if they have bad earnings. But it's not crashing down to its all-time low of 1839, which is that big line in the sand. So Roku really, really needs to innovate. I've tried their products before. And, you know, if you have, there's other streaming sticks out there, devices. There's Apple TV. There's Amazon Fire Stick, etc. And there's Roku as well. And then there's, you know, tablet, phones. There's a lot of competitors. So Roku, the content, the apps, sometimes is not as good as other devices, right? That's why this company is having problems in terms of just the sales. So we'll see what's going on with the earnings. Zillow Group, a real estate and rental company. If you've been to the website Zillow.com, you can try to find rentals in your local city, at least here in the USA, possibly worldwide, but at least here in USA, as far as I know, is, one second. All right. So Zillow Group still in a downtrend. We had this short-term upside down head and shoulders, which is supposed to be bullish. So if it tests the neckline here at 38.45, that's totally fine. But if we lose that, then I know, wait a second, this pattern's fake. Many stocks have this pattern. Nvidia, AMAT, couple tech stocks, and a Zillow Group as well. So this is very important that we don't lose this. If we lose it, it's not time yet for the market to rally. So in terms of support, $38, $30. If we happen to have a blowout breakout to the upside, $48 or $65 would be incredible. But I'm trying to personally, just on the side, I'm watching this because we know real estate has been getting crushed in certain states in terms of the house valuations, unfortunately, but there's going to be a bottom somewhere. This is supposed to be a bullish reversal indicator, so that's why it might take 1 year for this to actually manifest, right? Just because I see an inverse upside down and shoulders on daily, it usually means it's going to take months at least for this price. If it's going to pull back, fine, and bulls, we're all going to try to push back if possible. So I'm watching Zillow. I'm watching things like Roku as well. You know, small little stocks like that can yield some actual profit. Smaller companies. All right, let's go to the last two for this stock segment. Look at AMAT in terms of earnings, just for the educational side. Now, AMAT was very similar, had an upside down head and shoulders with a neckline breakout, which could be retested as early as Monday or Tuesday. 110.56 is the neckline breakout area for this bullish pattern. It's supposed to be bullish pattern, but I do want to explain to the viewers is that price patterns, stock charts, they never work 100% of the time. That's the key with stock charts. That's why I also just use other sources of information to piece the puzzle together. It's not all about charts, especially with stocks. Charts is one piece of the puzzle, piece of information. I can already see the bearish divergence, the bearish momentum here. We have this pulling back MACD, histogram, and signal line, and the RSI showing bearish divergence to the downside, bearish momentum. How far can we drop? Might drop. We just trying to hold above that 236 level right now, but the 382 and the 50 cents could be our pullback. Somebody on YouTube said CPI hopefully favorable Wednesday. Yes, hopefully the CPI shows a favorable drop, decrease, which means the consumer inflation number, hopefully that will drop over time. I do want to note that the FOMC chairman, Jerome Powell, last Tuesday and the previous Wednesday has stated that he really needs to see more data. So a lot of traders right now, we're all watching the data. We're all watching inflation metrics or stock chart price data. But we really need to see a sustained period for price of uptrend, obviously, and then for inflation, we need to sustain down, right? Just one downtick, even the chairman said that it's not enough data, right? And then if we have abysmal data, like 10 basis point decrease, it's good, but it's not really enough data. So it really could take on Tuesday, and he's been saying this for a year now, is that it could take an additional extra 1 to 2 years for inflation to come down to his 2% target. He said that at the start of his interest rate increases in the beginning of 2022. He showed a chart that extended all the way out to 2024. So I have been, traders, we've been aware of that because he said it so many times. Very important. Yeah, so I'm not here to, repeat the news. If you watch the news article, you'll understand that he is not, nobody's really, the FOMC is not doing things in the blind, and so it takes a while. He said it takes months. His quote was literally, it's going to take at least 1 or 2 years. All right, so at AMAT, with that in our mind, now we understand that the news is calling this FOMO rally, and it could be true, right? In terms of people, because sometimes the hive mindset, the large group of all traders, right? Who knows? Maybe we are too early on the uptrend. It's definitely possible. So that's why for me, I try to remain as neutral as possible, just take in all the information, knowledge that's publicly available, currently available, and then just form a data-based and a truth-based point of view and idea. That's why if we pull back to the upside down head and shoulders, no problem. No problem. If I have to flip short, no problem too. Go ahead and short it down if it breaks that 111, regardless of what the news says. If the price is going to break to the downside, it's going to break to the downside. Now, let's go ahead. Thank you for that comment, by the way. When I comment on somebody's chat, I'm not really targeting that person. It's important these days, I think, for truth and for accuracy and for quality to be primary. It's just I noticed, just my personal observation. This is not towards anyone in the chat, but just my personal observation of the stock market, of news, and just life in general. Like when I go outside, when I go to a store, when I talk to people online about other random things. Right now, the world and our generation is geared towards speed. Everybody wants everything as fast as possible because we're in the I'm just going to call it the 5G generation. Where everything is on internet, gigabyte internet, 1 gig speeds. We want things fast, fast, fast. But from a certain point of view, what I learned in my life and experience is that nature has its own timeline and speed. So if I think about, for example, investing to me is like farming or gardening is can't make a tree grow in 1 day. Can't, harvest fruit if I plant the seed tomorrow. It takes a year in favorable conditions, in good conditions. So same thing for investing is if somebody just close their eyes and just buys a random investment, it takes time for that investment to go up. It could also take time for it to go down. So that's the conditions part. It has to be good conditions, good market conditions, stock market, economic conditions, right? And some people, the reason why my stream is not like a super hype stream of me getting super exciting and sounding off 50 sound effects and alarms is because I try to reduce the emotional aspect, that reduce echo chambers, reduce emoji chambers, and reduce some of the cognitive biases and the traps of human mindset and emotions, and focus on the truth. What is happening with the price? Not following less of talking head opinion. That's why we use technical analysis. For the most part, most of the information currently available it gets priced into the price. So I usually forecast about a month ahead of time. So it's just something I noticed is if we try to focus on quality and accuracy, we're going to see some real results and actually put in some work and hustle and not spend 5 seconds on the charts, but actually like work on it. There are opportunities out there. All right, let's go to the last one here. DKNG. And again, this is a technical analysis stream, so, it's all about the charts here. It's all about the price data, to be exact. DraftKings, very interesting sports betting website and company. Sports betting has been on the rise, at least back from 2020-21, and we're starting to see some states kind of legalize more of the sports betting or change the regulations there. So that's a real business, real industry. Now, for DraftKings, what I'm looking here at the bottom of the double bottom is this $10 was potentially this bottom. Now, where have we seen this chart pattern before? Earlier, we saw it on companies a little bit like Roblox, a little bit like Zillow, etc. So now, one of two things can happen. Now we're starting to see this kind of sort of go sideways in the price. Now I'm starting to see a little bit of a parallel channel starting to form. All right. It's consolidating right now. We're almost trying to get into the double bottom. So the two formations that I'm seeing right now, it is consolidating to the side. But if you know your Wyckoff theory, very general in terms of accumulation, this is generalizing, paraphrasing. Accumulation, distribution, right? And bring up another page here. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to confuse people. So we have the accumulation, which goes sideways. we have markup. Okay, this is more like the actual Wyckoff terms. Accumulation markup, we have consolidation period, we have distribution, so selling, and then markdown. Now, if we have another repeat of that in terms of Wyckoff terms, there are different ways to say this. That's why I want to make it more accurate. But we could be entering another period of accumulation here. So then, if we have a period of accumulation and our support holds, we might have a period of markup, but that might take time. We know we're in the environment where it might not be ready to just blow out to the bulls to the upside. The market is not in a complete uptrend right now. We've been in a downtrend. Now we've hit this bottom and we're trying to rally off of that. It's important to not foam at the mouth yet at these setups. That's why it's no FOMO charts. But because we're so down, there's actually less FOMO. It's more about just trying to get a decent price. FOMO usually occurs when you're like at the top here. So somebody axed it down. Unfortunately, somebody bought DraftKings or some altcoin crypto up here at $75 and is holding till now. And that's not a good investment strategy, unfortunately. But a lot of volatility on this, 70%. If we have the 70% breakout to the 618, it could go to $30. So I'm also watching DraftKings. I understand if I'm going to short this thing down, you also get a beautiful 50% short, 40-50% short. But do want to be careful because if you do have that breakout, don't want to get stopped out, or you don't want to gap up and start losing a ton of money because of the short. So just watch out for that potential double bottom and the parallel channel. All right. I think I spent a lot of time on stocks. We could revisit this later in the stream, but let's move over to crypto, TOTAL. I am streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. If you like this stream, if you learned something, if you want to support the stream, go ahead and consider clicking subscribe and follow or donating. That would be much appreciated. Keep the stream going and the ideas flowing for this year. Alrighty, let's get back to total. Crypto, unfortunately, crypto. Let's redraw this. Let's start the fresh chart. We are still in the downtrend on cryptocurrencies. We're looking at this market cap. Again, watch out for this resistance. We just rallied into it. Now, if we have this pullback, where are our support levels? Somebody could say we had a W. Yes, we did. We hit the target, 2 times the target. We hit this resistance here at right below $1.05 trillion. Do a little mini Fibonacci, get our levels up here. 895 billion is our support to the downside, and our 847 billion. Now, if it pulls back all the way down, 745 billion, at a worst case, 600 billion, absolute worst case, bad case, 500 billion. That would mean Bitcoin would go to like $10,000. So it's possible if we have enough selling pressure. But the fact that we pivoted here in conjunction, correlation with the Dow Jones is something we want to watch out for. Now, some crypto bulls are saying never. They never want to go down. They are, putting their feet in the sand and going to fight this. All right. If somebody is like that, just want to caution against this evening star pattern in the crypto market on these 3 candles right here. These 3 candles, evening star pattern. We had basically a bullish piercing, a doji into a bearish piercing candle. It's our evening star. That's a bearish pattern on the weekly. It could take about 1 to 2 months to come down. Just looking at this July to October to November price action, we actually might see that again. Why am I saying something different than last week's analysis? Because the candles have changed. Again, it's all about the data. It's all about the price data and the trends. So now that we have that weekly close, basically almost have a weekly close, but in like 5 hours, we'll have the close. Basically, want to watch out for that. Want to watch out for that. And again, there is a correlation socially where if a lot of people start showing up into my chat and they're talking and they just start talking a lot in terms of just what's going on in the market rather than where was the forecast. And like I was saying, the bottom down here, this was October, November, December, January. This is 3-4 months ago. So this swing trade is this one leg up is over. This one leg up is over. So there's just there is a little correlation in terms of when I notice people show up in chat, and whereas 3 months ago there was nobody in chat, that's also just some kind of social correlation as well in regards to tops and bottoms, because a lot of general people, they'll come back into the market after they see a bunch of green candles and green price up. However, that means there was already a bottom formed earlier. So buy low, sell high. We buy low down here, which I did, and then sell up here. For example, on Tesla, that's exactly what I did. Took my 40 to almost 50% profit, and I'm done with that trade. It kept rallying because Tesla, but in terms of other cryptos, we knew this thing's going to pull back down in the short term. Let's go to Bitcoin so you actually see what's going on here in Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the daily, exactly. Very similar. You had this 200 EMA here. $24,000 was our resistance. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you. BTC futures here. We hit this resistance. It's not completely over for Bitcoin yet. Bitcoin usually likes to bounce. There are algorithms and market makers and traders and whales. Nobody really wants to see Bitcoin crash down to nothing. So people try to save the price as we have a relative low. Now, we have this gap support. Again, $20,000 is basically my gap support here on the downside. We hit our 26 EMA. There is 150 EMA right here at 20,400. So I'm expecting the price could go low, high, low, and then bounce up one more time before one more pullback. And then we're going to have the true battle here in terms of we can even go lower, but where is the price going to set that higher low? High, low, higher, high. Where's the higher low? It could go all the way down to 18,500 before we try to attempt to maybe double top, because inflation problem, right? Maybe double top, that's one scenario. We could actually keep going if we have enough momentum in the market. Or we could consolidate. Those are the only three scenarios. But see, trying to forecast it, get ahead of the curve, gets us better well positioned. In the weekly, I've been saying this for months now, is if we have an upside down head and shoulders, there's our bottom, and then we would have the neckline breakout. But I kept saying in my ideas, we need to close above $25,000 Bitcoin, hold above that price, and then we can finally break out to $30,000, $50,000. But it takes time. It's not going to take one day. And if people don't have extra discretionary money to spend, who's going to buy? That's the big question. Who's buying right now? Now, on the 4 hour, we did lose our trend to the upside on the H4. Very similar. You can see the connection with gold and Dow Jones as well. So if somebody wants to learn something right now in terms of price action, just studying the 3 to 4 phases. You have a sideways, you have an increase, you go up, and then at some point, relatively short or long-term time frames, you go sideways again at the top, and then either you have a dip or we don't. It might go down. If we have a dip, this should bounce. If we don't, it's going down. Very simple. Very simple. If you study Wyckoff theory, if you study price action, price trends, if you don't believe me, just keep looking at your own charts, right? Find the truth for yourself. That's what I did. And you'll see it repeating in the market over and over and over again. Down here, we had the symmetrical triangle, ascending triangle to be exact, ascending triangle breakout. All right, so now where is our target? 20%. Did we hit that? Oh, yes, we did. support levels right in the gap zone. So now you kind of understand the thinking behind the logic idea behind what's going on here. If we even fall back down harder to the downside, there is this double X marks the spot zone right at 20,000. I am very closely watching that. So hopefully that makes sense to you and explains what needs to happen with Bitcoin. If we find support at 20,000, great. Let's keep going up. We have to break above 25,000 and continue to hold above that, sustain above that. How do I know this is true? If you zoom out, look at the past history of Bitcoin, when we have these big crashes down, the sustained uptrend never comes back down. Okay, that's one way to learn and to know is when the Bitcoin price crashes down, one bounce up might not be the final one. It needs to stay up and never go to a certain level. Like in this case, in 2020, we need to never go below $10,000 again, break out, and then we finally sustain to the $60,000, $70,000 level. Here, we have low, high, low, high. This is our potential lower high, and we could crash back down. Bitcoin could always crash back down. There is no rule that says Bitcoin cannot go down all the way back down to $4,000, $3,000, or $2,000 Bitcoin. Remember, it is a digital asset. If the market conditions, if the global conditions are such that, let's say, G7 countries, let's just say if some country bans Bitcoin, if crypto trading is illegal in America, you can bet with almost 90 to 100% certainty that Bitcoin is going to crash down if that happens. So we'll see. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let me check the comments. Sometimes the comments don't show up. All right. Now let's go just really quickly looking at some altcoins as well. So the too long, didn't watch for this is we're still in the longer term downtrend on Bitcoin. We need to see a true support level. We need to see this thing stop dropping, and then we'll know. Then we can reverse into an uptrend and try to get some real serious gains going on. Ethereum USD. We are consolidating to the side in the sim triangle. Now it's this reminds me of early gold before we had the gold rally, like 2 months ago. We hit the support level, broke out of our small little baby symmetrical triangle. Now we hit the resistance on the top side. Where's my support? Right here, 1350, support at 1000 as well. So scenarios on Ethereum is we could pull back and then try to rally, or we'll pull back and fade down, or pull back and go sideways. So those are the 3 things to watch out for if you're just watching the price. All right, somebody told me on YouTube, can we look at H1 on BTC because you see a bullish setup? Let's take a look. Now, before I call anything, is multi-time frames, and this is getting to like more of a paid strategy type of thing, so I'm not going to harp on this too much, but what you want to watch out for is there are definitely multiple time frames you can look at any crypto or stock asset, but the longer term time frames are more powerful in terms of the moves and reliable. So if you see a bullish setup on a 1 hour, it could be bullish setup on the 1 hour. The charts I'm looking at, they're on daily charts, right? What you want to watch out for too is sometimes if you see a bullish setup, now you want to ask how extended is it, right? Because I understand what you're saying. If you're saying this is the low high and you might be talking about this support level, you might be saying, well, isn't this supposed to go up? It could very well go up. Using some other indicators, however, is it the lowest RSI oversold, or am I seeing major momentum here? I'm not really seeing it yet, but it could be at the time of this video as well. Right, my style is I like to play really low RSI oversolds or oversold momentums. That's just my style because that's how I am. But you know, if it never goes below on this 1 hour for your case, let's say like a 21,400, okay, then you might have a nice chance at a rally up to 22,000. But hopefully you understand that multiple time frames, and we're zoomed in a lot. We're only looking at 2 or 3 weeks of data. It's an intraday. We're talking about day trading or intraday or swing trading right now. If you zoom out to the H4, okay, somebody could also say the same thing. Is, oh, wait a second, is low RSI and should we get this MACD? Yes, definitely, it can. But this framework of the H1 and the H4 fits inside of the daily and weekly analysis that I just did, saying that if it bounces, I was saying low, high, low, and lower high, it could bounce up to this 22.5K, maybe establish that lower high, and then pull back down to 20K. It could bounce up. It could do a lot of things in the price here, but we want to make sure if you zoom out a little bit, maybe on your chart, you might see a potential bearish head and shoulders pattern. That is actually something new we're seeing here on the H4 as well. I would not call H1 a bullish pattern though, so just something to watch out for. You might have a support level, but in terms of how much close to like 90 or 95%, is it going to go up? It looks like it might not. You might need to see a smaller pullback if you're a day trader, like on the 5-minute 15. You might want to see a super oversold. Again, this is a Saturday stream, so it is not the most volatile time. So it might just stay here quietly for a while until you have some market open, like in Europe or etc. But something to watch out for is on February 12th, just in terms of culturally, is there's a Super Bowl, American Super Bowl football, which is a major sports event. So there's probably going to be a lot of people watching that just to get their minds off of the world and enjoy sports. And then on Tuesday, it's Valentine's Day culturally. So the volatility in crypto, it might be a little bit quiet for a couple days. Just letting people know, FYI, if you don't live in the USA. But multi-time frames just takes practice. It just takes practice and understanding the strategies. I would recommend back testing as well. I back tested a lot of indicators on a lot of time frames, so that's how I know what am I supposed to use or not. But that's somebody's own personal journey, proprietary corporate information, company information, and proprietary strategy. That's what sets companies and traders apart, right? What kind of work did they put in? How much research, practice, knowledge, learning does somebody do in terms of skills and algorithms, etc. Like, for example, there's a strategy tester down here. You can find, there's a couple of free strategies if you're wondering, like, where do I find that stuff? Well, if you just go to if you have a I believe if you have paid trading view, you just kind of open it up and go to the technicals and then strategies. And there's a bunch here. Not all of these work 100% of the time, so I'd recommend just test it on your own. I tested almost all of these before in the past. So let's just see. Let's just pick a random one. Bollinger Band strategy on the daily Bitcoin BTC USD. Does this thing work? Deep back testing. All right, let's see deep back testing. It wants me to do a lot of data. Select the first available day. All right, so we used a lot. This is just a quick ad hoc test. This is nothing against the creators of the strategy, which is probably TradingView, but on a very, very quick glance, it's only 40% profitable with a profit factor is negative 0.5, so it's not profitable. On this daily, what about weekly? All time, 40% profitable with only a 0.44 profit factor. It's negative, right? So on this particular strategy, this is not the greatest example to use, but I just picked a random one on Bitcoin. That's what separates some people, right? That's getting too much like advanced or like proprietary stuff, but I would recommend if you have time and energy and you're really curious about what works or not. I remember I spent days back testing. That's all I did for a period of time. I just back tested everything. So that's how you know. I would recommend that. If you're serious about trading, you got to back test because you need to know what works and what does not work. And that's what separates successful people versus accounts that are having trouble. And you hear that repeated with a lot of trading prop firms. They always talk about strategies, successful strategies, in addition to mindset. All right, so let's go ahead and that was a really good question. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. It's good to talk about that and think about that stuff. It's important. All right, let's go down some of the altcoins really fast. I hit my 1 hour mark, so we're going to end soon. And it's a weekend, and not everybody is on their computer right now. Let's just take a look at the 4 hour or the daily. I'll end it on daily, and I just go down my list. And just quickly see, sometimes I go into line view. And we'll just look. We're seeing the pullback begin on the daily. Even on a Bitcoin dominance chart, you can see that lower support line here, like at the 38, 39% on the way down. It's on this like descending area, descending wedge. DeFi had a nice bullish bounce, but that's over now. Let's skip the ones I already did. Binance Coin finding its resistance below 330. Solana with the pullback. Solana's pullback could go deep. I would caution somebody about that. I want to watch out for that. Cardano just trying to test that descending wedge area, like 33 cents. XRP trying to pull back down to support about 35 cents. AVAX could drop down, let's see, maybe somewhere in the half, like 15, worst case $10 or bad case. DOT, if this is a lower high, DOT can pull back significantly down to like $5 or whatnot. I'm just calling the charts. I don't really want crypto to crash on anybody, but the fact is we've crashed so far. It's everyone knows now. It's a matter of, okay, when am I seeing the bottom formation so that I could get in more? Right? I'm talking about when's the mooning going to happen? When are we rocketing to the moon on crypto? And not yet. It's not now. The market conditions is not exactly perfect for it to happen yet. But as I look forward, we have August Litecoin happening. We have Bitcoin happening in May 2024, Litecoin happening August 2023. It could happen. It could happen. It's not impossible, I still believe, as long as it's legal and active. All right, Shiba Inu with the pullback just above its trend line resistance, above the 1200 area. If it breaks bearish, got to take some profit. And then if it's going to drop all the way back down to like a 1,800, something to watch out for. However, just like that Wyckoff theory and some of this price action, if it starts to really go sideways, remember, this is a huge pattern back in 2021. There was only one guy who asked me on stream, what's going to happen with Shiba Inu? And we talked about this. And then hopefully we all made those gains. Hopefully that guy made gains. I never heard from him again. Maybe he retired on the moon. He's out. But we're looking for that kind of thing, right? In terms of going sideways. That's what we're watching for. MATIC, nice. Altcoin rally on MATIC. This particular call went way above and beyond, went to 50%. So that is complete. Congrats to anybody who caught that. Now, when I see something this high, when I start to get a little bit cautious in the short term, if we start to lose this upside trend line, this is where the no FOMO mentality starts to activate inside of my mind. I know from trading, when it's up too high, it's like Jenga. The higher it goes, the more cautious I get. The lower it goes, it's a matter of waiting. And then attack. Not attack, but buy. Buy whole, make some money, if possible. All right, Cosmos, want to watch out for this potential weekly head and shoulders that's setting up, or at least this double top. This could be catastrophic for Atom. If this turns out to be real head and shoulders, this could go downside. Real bad. But right now, hopefully it's just going to bounce off this trend line and go down to maybe $12. near with the pullback. You can see a lot of altcoins finding resistance right now. That's why just because we see green on the charts on this watch list on the side does not mean all of a sudden every asset in the world is about to go up. That's why we need to protect ourselves against emotion, because if we study the psychology a little bit of like gambling or casinos, you'll know why. If you see a lot of flashing green lights, red lights, colors, you want to avoid the casino mentality. Best thing to do if you have that is just take a break from it, like walk away for a little bit and control yourself. That's what I do to practice. Sometimes the best thing is turn the computer off sometimes. It's not really, in my opinion, it's not the healthiest thing to stay in front of a charts like 12 hours a day. Back in the old days of crypto, that was not healthy, but there's a once in a lifetime opportunity for that. Litecoin bouncing off its higher low. Nice. So still Litecoin, I believe in Litecoin because of the halvening. There's going to be news on it in the future. But if this is the bottom of this range, I mean, how much potential are we talking about? If Litecoin continues to rally, there could be like a 200 to 300%. That's why I still believe. But that would mean Bitcoin needs to go up as well. So if this happens to just be like this in terms of May to November of 2021, no problem. Got to lock in the gains though. But the fact that we're down here, if we pull back again to get this kind of higher low W, then maybe we could bounce up. So I'm watching for that if it happens to go down. Uni as well. Consolidation. Link starting to lose momentum. Bitcoin Cash with the pullback as well. It's not a deep pullback. A lot of these cryptos are just starting. But for example, on Stellar, let me bring open a Fibonacci. We're still below that 0.88 retrace, and some of these altcoins are down negative 88% off discount. So I believe that the market could drop like a further -5, -10, 15, -15%. But once things get really cheap and that -90% off, I mean, that's the time to just go. For me, that's just my personal preference, is to buy some, right? When it's just -90% off, if you just logically, if you think about any store, if I want an iPhone or I want a computer or a laptop and it's a brand new product, exactly what I want, and it's -90% off, in real life, people would fight each other for that. Black Friday style, unfortunately. People want that. So crypto trading is a very emotional sport, I'm going to call it. When people are starting out, it's all about emotions and hype. But the longer you have experience and the more you stay in, it's more about, well, just if it's Stellar, but it's -90% off, or Bitcoin is -80% off, I probably want to buy some to the long side. It's just a matter of time. VeChain still below its 0.88 retrace, riding underneath the support level here. HBAR with a nice rally. HBAR. Beautiful. Want to watch out on this one. You might have one more pop up, and then you have some serious bearish divergence or double top momentum, and then you might want to sell and get out of that. How about Monero? Okay, let's look at Monero. I'm going to end soon. I'm not going to go like 2 hours. But Monero. All right, XMR. Let's zoom out. Let me find a different chart. Possibly, I want to find a little bit more data on this one. Actually, Binance might be the best chart. No, the Poloniex chart. Yeah, I remember. There's more data back here. Sometimes it's good to find an old chart. Old chart. I remember Monero's an old coin. So in terms of weekly, Monero, just remember, is way up here in terms of the price action. And if we start to do some really long yearly trend lines, you could find some correlations of what's going on with Monero. So currently altcoins are trying to attempt this higher low right now, and it's about finding where that is. Is it really oversold? No, it's not. On the daily, it's getting towards that oversold range. It could be oversold on like a M15 or a H1, but just starting to break out of this downtrend. So you could see the X marks the spot for me is right about here around $90 on Monero. If we can hold that, maybe even go down. This is a log chart, by the way. It could pierce down. Let's see how much this pierced down back in the pandemic. Below support. Maybe negative 20% below that. So it could go all the way down to maybe like $65 in this area. And then I want to pick some up probably just to try to play that. Now, if you're a swing trader, but let's say if we go on H1, H1 is riding this trend line from that we drew earlier on the longer term trend lines, but the RSI is not oversold. There was an oversold right on right on February 9th. That's why I had this double bottom, and we're bouncing up from that. In the short term on H1 chart, it's right at resistance again. So to me, I know the 15-minute, we're hitting that resistance point. Now, only two things are going to happen. This thing needs to break out or head and shoulders and we reverse back down to 153. To really drill down into the price, I'm looking at a 5-minute M5. Once we lose that, you can automatically see that support level down there on the blue dot, and we put up some EMAs as well. So I would watch that very closely, see what's going on here. Try to get that 15-minute golden cross. So then 159 area would be a level of support because we can see high, low, high, low, high, higher, low, just right there about 160, and then trying to see if it can rally above there and then start the rally cascade. But I would be suspicious, at least on the time of this video, H1, we just got that downtick on the histogram and the cross as well. And we have this little bit of this double top on RSI. So I would watch out, just watch out for it. All right, let's try to just finish up here. So just to be clear, I am a swing trader and investor, and my style is buying very low. So I buy stocks of crypto when it's like this. I don't even enter. I would take profit. I'm the opposite. If people are thinking to buy now on a swing trade, I'm already had profit generally when I'm in the market, and then I sell. Somebody sold their profit here and just got out with the bearish divergence on the daily. Now, that's not saying that 2 years from now, we might not, it could keep going up. If you're talking about a swing trade, like 1 week at a time, it's a different mentality. Or just playing that one leg up. Okay. All these other coins kind of consolidating to the right side. Still in a long-term downtrend. We haven't quite had that breakout. Now, here's something you don't see every day. You have GRT. Nice, huge pump, 200%. Gotta love that. One of these nice double bottom plays. If somebody was able to get early in on that, beautiful. There's a support play or a breakout play, and there's a EMA up cross. So if somebody really wanted to get on that, really small coin GRT, but just watch out for it. Just watch out the FOMO. Let me just rechart this because I know somebody might watch this and get the wrong idea here. Is where's the eventual target? Could hit the 0.88, but we're so bounced up. We hit this resistance point right below 30 cents kind of area, 24, 25 cents. So in terms of the support level, right, this is the FOMO, day trading FOMO pump algorithms as well. So where's a better level if it ever gets down to like a 13 cents? Hopefully it crashes back or pulls back down to the 200 EMA, sell off, or at least 50% or relative 618, which is about 11 to 12 cents, and then try to play that bounce instead of just buying at the top and losing money. Sometimes you get that, one harmony, we're at a double top reversal signal to the downside, might have some pullback action back down to 14 cents, just like November. A lot of cryptos and stocks hit the 200 EMA and they're pulling back now. So it's all about the support levels being established. Bring with a nice little bounce. All right, Dash actually has its golden cross, so let's see if it gets retested or not. $52 to $56 support levels. Same pattern in almost all of these major altcoins. Very similar. And some of the real small coins, I'm not even going to cover it because it's, for most people, it's just too risky in terms of the volatility. So that's why I don't show the really, really small coins. To end, we'll look at some crypto stocks. And if somebody has one more last question, go ahead. Your last chance. Hello, thank you for joining. And that's a good point. Maybe we'll talk about this to end the stream. If somebody's new here on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, or new to stock charts, welcome to my stream. I'm just one trader investor here on TradingView Livestream. There are many other streams, educators. TradingView has a wonderful YouTube and wonderful website for education. I do want to point out that if somebody's trying to enter into trading and you're just trying to learn and practice, there is the free paper trading console down here. You just click the trading panel, connect paper trading, connect, turn it on, and then you can set your options here. Reset the paper trading account if you want to, if you've never done it before. Set the commission percentage settings for your exchange. These trading settings are turning on certain data or notifications you want to see on the screen. And then you could get started in trading, for my country, Bitcoin USD 24/7. You could start and you open up the order panel on the right side and then start learning how to set an order, set a take profit level, and do your stop loss. And that's how you practice. The other easy way, I should cover some of the new features. Maybe we'll talk about that because it's important. This is paper trading console. Now, they also have the bar replay. TradingView has wonderful bar replay, and they added day trading timeframes, like the shorter term timeframes. But if you just want to start on a daily chart, for example, let me bring up a different chart. Let's just go, what do I not use, like a Gemini? And the bar replay button's up here. If you have a brand new free account, you might have a little bit of limitations, but it still should work for you. Bar replay. And you just kind of rewind to, let's just say, like, I don't know, a couple months ago. And in terms of the buttons, you'll see here now that there's a buy button and a sell button down here. Very, very kind of crude way to practice. It's not the real way to practice, but if you're just starting out, just like curious about like what happens, it's trading one unit. So let me go a little slower and start. While this is going, let me just say I bought that right there. And, but while this is going, let me see if I bought some more right here as practice. While this is going is 95% of day traders fail and lose all their money in 90 days. 90% of day traders fail and lose all their money in 90 days. So that's why I recommend paper trading. If you want to try practicing trading, there's so much education on TradingView and YouTube and Google that if you study and work hard enough, it's possible. But if somebody is starting, it usually takes like years to become proficient at trading and investing as well. Investing takes time. So let's say I'm buying here, building a position. I'm holding 4 Bitcoins, which is quite a lot of money. So I'll just stop and leave it there. But while the price action is moving to the side, right, I see a nice formation is going sideways. I like that. Let me speed that up, ×3. This is more of an investing mindset where I see like, okay, it's starting to go sideways on me. It's not dropping anymore. That's good. And I'll just take my profit. I'll sell 1. I'll sell 2. We're still rallying. This is on the day chart. Take my other one. We start downtrending, sell all. Right? So these numbers this is not the most realistic trading, but it gets you kind of in the mentality of like, I used to use it in a Microsoft Word or Excel spreadsheet when I practiced or just to learn. And then I would say like, where do I want to buy on the chart and why? What happened? Not on the news, but on the chart, on the price, like what happened here? So, but the real way to do it, I would say, because on paper trading, for example, it just takes time. Paper trading is like a real-time practice where bar replay is past practice and it's a lot faster. So I treat bar replay as like general, was I right or wrong on the trade? And paper trading is for the real skills in the market because you need to, it's important to set a stop loss, for example. You'll probably learn that from somebody, but stop loss, entry point, where I buy, where I sell, emergency sell, and then emergency take profit. And that's, these triple orders is what protects you as a trader in the market. Right. And again, this is just educational advice. We're talking about paper trading right now. It's so critical for traders and investors to practice this. And even myself, I still practice and I still execute paper trades on my own time on a different console, sometimes a different program as well. But those two tools, bar replay and paper trading, are some of the most priceless and valuable tools for a trader to have. Because every paper trade, every bar replay you do is that experience you're building for yourself in the asset class, whatever you're trying to trade, any time frame, you're building that practice. So it's important to get some of those trading reps in. It's like sports. It's just like sports. You got to practice, you got to learn and practice. All right, so let's just end it there on that note. And thank you so much for watching. I'm live streaming on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord as well. This stream today was a special stream because we have a kind of a my schedule changed this weekend. Also, my next stream after February 13th to 17th, then the USA has President's Day holiday weekend. So the 20th, the stock market is closed on the 20th. So the next stream, I might do it depends on the schedule. So I might end up streaming on the 20th or the 21st, maybe the 19th. So I'll just say anywhere between 19 and 21 February, I'm probably going to stream in the evening time, my time, just letting people know. All right, thank you so much. If you like this stream, if you learned something, go ahead and consider clicking subscribe or follow, donate, share my channel on social media with your friends and family. Just trying to build a community of competent traders and investors that's truth-based on price data and true knowledge. Thanks so much. Hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.